Falcons fans, Logan here. Welcome back to Rise Up Rundown, and if you're new here, welcome. So, it is time to go over your mailbag questions yet again, and in this video, it's just like every other mailbag question video. These are all the mailbag questions that I have received as I record this, so if I did miss any of the new questions coming in, I do apologize. These are the questions that I just got as I recorded this. Now, in this video, it's mainly questions from my good friend Archangel. So I do thank every single one of you for your questions, and I thank Archangel for a plethora of amazing questions that I'm excited to go over. And without further ado, let's get straight into it. Wyatt Brumbello asks, how would you feel about drafting Denzel Washington from Georgia and or Jalen Carter? Every time I see Denzel Washington, I always want to say Darnell. Oh, wait. Oh, I think you actually meant Darnell Washington. I was like, why am I thinking of Denzel Washington? But even before this comment where it says Denzel Washington, even when people were saying Darnell Washington over and over, like I was like, I think of Denzel Washington. But anyway, that would be really cool if we got him. I don't know if we need him. We just got another tight end. Arthur Smith loves his tight ends. But, so I guess it's not impossible if we get him, but that would be really cool. And I feel like he's one of those players to where it's not necessarily a need and they're probably not going to get him. But if we got him, I would still be hella excited. I'd be like, oh, we just got Darnell freaking Washington. He's basically like, maybe I'll get some slack. Maybe I'll get some flack for this. But he's like the Kyle Pitts from Georgia. Because he's like a really cool tight end. He's maybe not as good as Kyle Pitts was coming out of college. But I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, or if we got Jalen Carter, if all of the things that are going on with him on the off-field thing, whatever was going on there, I wouldn't mind if we got Jalen Carter because, again, pass rush is a need, and we would very much need that. Archangel asks, where would you think our offense ranks this upcoming year, 1 to 32? Well, things have changed because we got Scotty Miller and Mac Hollins, Jonnu Smith, and obviously Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Desmond Ridder, and then a pretty good offensive line. Depending on the draft, this ranking will also vary, but I don't know. It's got to at least, I think the goal would be to at least be a top 10 scoring unit. We were like that in the beginning of the 2022 season. Like, we were like a top 10 scoring unit for a little while. But yeah, we should aim to be at least a top 10 offense, right? Like, we got the weapons. The offensive line is very, I don't want to say great, but it's great for run blocking, but pass blocking, I think it's just good. And then obviously the run game is what it is. The receivers, we got some receivers. I forgot to mention Olamide Zaccheaus is also a good option for us if he stays. But it really just depends on Desmond Ridder, which I'm expecting good things from him. So I don't know, at least a top 10 unit, right? At the lowest, I think a top 15, because I do think Arthur Smith is a good enough play caller to stay above, 16 and below. I don't think he can go that low is what I'm trying to say, at least for 2023, by the way. But I don't know. I would aim to go in the top 10. Archangel asks, who are some of your personal favorite Falcons content creators to watch? Well, I have a few of them. There are still the fellas at the What's Up Falcons podcast that I'll listen to, and it's really good to listen to their analysis a lot. I still should probably hit them up and ask if we can do another collab. It's kind of been a while. I like Antoine Smith. The Smitty Sports Machine is really, really good to watch. And I've been watching some newer ones that I've ran across on Twitter. I'm not incredibly familiar with their content just yet because I'm just kind of starting to get to know them. But I'll probably have to put some of their names in the video, on the screen here. But I've been listening to some newer ones, I think. Those are some really good Falcons content creators that I would recommend. Archangel asks, where would you think this defense would fall in all of the NFL this year from 1 to 32? Well, this is a much different question compared to the offense, because defense is like literally the flip opposite of good expectations here. Although, is it though? Because we just picked up some great players. Calais Campbell, Grady Jarrett, David Onyemata, Jesse Bates, you get the idea. But now, as crazy as it sounds, I don't want to put our expectations too high here, because, it's still the Falcons defense. Now, I mean, gosh, it would be absolutely embarrassing if we didn't become a better unit than we were in the last 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, all of it. But I think we should aim for at least a top 20, right? I know that sounds kind of low, but the Falcons defense has just been near the bottom for years. So it's you don't want to aim too high here, I don't think. We still need a little bit of help. And we're obviously probably going to get some draft help as well, probably Christian Gonzalez. So I think you should at least aim for the top 20, at least. Archangel asks, are you going to do another video prediction of our Atlanta Falcons record, but with your brother again? Thought that was pretty cool. We're always going to do that. Every single year. We're going to make our predictions video, and it's always fun to look back and see who was right and wrong. I was pretty good last year, I felt. I predicted the Falcons to go 7-10, and then they actually did go 7-10. There were some surprise playoff teams I picked. I picked the Vikings to make the playoffs. What's another one? I'm sure there's others, but yeah, I feel like I had a good year. And we're gonna keep on doing that. And I'm glad to hear that you like it. And for everyone else that tunes in, I'm thankful. Well, we're thankful that you all tune in. Archangel asks, which team will be our biggest threat in the division? Carolina, easily. Now, I want to believe that the Falcons had the best offseason, but let's be honest. I think that belongs to the Panthers in the NFC South, that is. But, the Falcons, as far as all of the whole offseason goes, with every NFL team, you would have to think that the Falcons are a top 3, right? They picked up a lot of great players. David Onyemata, Calais Campbell, Jesse Bates, Jonnu Smith, and even getting Ryan Nielsen is a good addition for the offseason. I would think the Falcons at least are a top 3, team in the offseason. They've been making some really good moves, and they were expected to because of the cap space they have. But yeah, I would say Carolina. Well, actually, I was going to say they want only the division for the offseason, but I hate to say it, they're probably the winners of the offseason. They made a lot of cool moves that I can't really fault them for. They really did amazing, and, you understand the moves they did. Yeah, sure, they traded away DJ Moore, but man, they've really loaded up. So, and they're probably going to get CJ Stroud or Bryce Young. So, I don't know. But yeah, I think, Carolina's probably our biggest threat. If it's not them, I would say Tampa Bay. Yeah, they don't have Tom Brady, and Todd Bowles is not the best head coach. He's a good defensive coordinator, but head coach, I don't know. But they still have some of that Super Bowl talent that was there not long ago. They still got Mike Evans and some players on defense. It's not like they're terrible. Saints, they're not a pushover, but I don't know. I guess I'm not too worried about the Saints over the Bucs and Panthers. Dak Dargani asked, Raiders have said they are out on drafting Jalen Carter. If he falls to us in the 8th pick, should we draft him? Or would drafting Jalen Carter or Christian Gonzalez give us an elite pass rush or secondary in the league? Man. I'm kind of starting to fall for the Christian Gonzalez hype at pick number 8, only because I feel like it's so inevitable. I don't want to say it's guaranteed we'll get him, but it's kind of looking like it's about to be that way the more the draft approaches. But if we picked up Jalen Carter, no complaints. Again, pass rush is a need, and he's a great player. But I do kind of have to say that with the Calais Campbell signing and, Ryan Nielsen coming in, David Onyemata, it looks like the Falcons are kind of, I don't know. It looks like they're kind of set with the pass rush they have for now, and they're probably going to get Christian Gonzalez, but I could be wrong. It's just that the pass rush at 8 possibility looks like it's kind of lowering every single week. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind either way. Like, both players are great. Terry Turner asks, should the Falcons focus on drafting an offensive tackle or guard with the first round pick, or dedicate the early picks to defense first? Hashtag rise up. I still would do defense. Now, I am higher on the offensive line, but I'm also not going to act like it's like 100%. You could use a better center, I think, and you could use a better guard. If Caleb McGarry does not end up being the same player we saw last year, then you'll need a tackle, and Jake Matthews is aging, but for the most part, I think the offensive line is off to a pretty good start. I think it's maybe, am I about to say that it's our second best position on the team? I don't know. I mean, it's close. Like, I think our 3 biggest strengths is running game, and between 2 and 3 is like secondary or offensive line, because the offensive line was great. Run blocking, pass blocking, they could have been a little better, but they were still good. But secondary, you can't deny that with AJ Terrell and Jesse Bates coming in, and probably Christian Gonzalez, that is going to be one of the bigger strengths on the team. But I still would go defense, though. It still is in need of some needs. Like, Christian Gonzalez could really help boost the secondary, or, getting Jalen Carter. And I wouldn't it's not the worst thing. It's not a bad thing if they go offensive line. I would understand it. I think defense is probably the smarter move. Archangel asks, who are your top 5 draft prospects? All right, so this is a little more on me saying my top 5 prospects that I think is realistic to land for the Falcons. Or if it's not realistic, these are just the prospects that I think would be good for the Falcons personally. Because if we're going over like my top 5 prospects in general, that's a little bit of a different story. Like, Bijan Robinson is like probably maybe the best player in the draft, but not really for the Falcons. I mean, it's not that he isn't a good prospect for us, and we'll get to that in a second, but the number 1 prospect, maybe like as a player, but as a need, not really. You'll see a little more of what I mean, but like, I guess I would say number 1, like probably the best fit for us. I don't know. And I'm also going a little realistic here. Like the most realistic players to land for us, and also who I think would be best fits for us. Christian Gonzalez probably is number 1. It looks like he's probably just going to land with us anyway, so I guess we'll find out who he truly is. And then number 2 is actually another corner, Devin Witherspoon. Really like him a lot. But then number 3 probably would be Bijan Robinson. I'm not denying that he's one of the better prospects to pick up. Yes, he's amazing. And yes, he would fit our system well. And yes, he would just add on to probably our biggest strength on the team. I just don't think that would be the wisest move to make at number 8, because it's a running back. But you can't deny his upside. So I wouldn't say it's like a failure if the Falcons picked up Bijan Robinson. I just would kind of more look at it like, I would have gone defense, but yes, Bijan Robinson would be like an impact. But then anyway, number 4, Jalen Carter, and then number 5. Who would be number 5? I don't know. Nolan Smith, I guess. But again, those are kind of me just being a little more realistic on who would probably land with us, and also just players that I think would be great fits for us. But if we're talking about top 5 prospects, that'd probably be, I don't know, that'd be a different topic, I think. RC Plane Builder 2 asks, would you rather get DHop or OBJ? Oh, definitely DHop. DHop, I think, has always been the better receiver than OBJ, and that's not to hate on OBJ. I freaking love OBJ, but I think DHop has always been the better receiver. And also noting that DHop isn't as injury prone, I think, as OBJ, and also DHop has played a little more recently than OBJ, so I'll go DHop. Archangel asked, did you hear about Arthur Blank's reason as to why he didn't get Lamar Jackson? And if you did, what was your own thoughts on this? Are you okay with this? So I think I know what you're talking about. If I stand corrected, I think he said he didn't want to pursue Lamar because it was too much money or something. So I'm just putting my iPad down. I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure that was the reason. If it was a different reasoning, then I apologize. This is just what I heard, but I think it's that he didn't want to go after Lamar because of the money situation. And I don't really blame him. Like, I think we all were on board with, using the cap space to build a team around a quarterback. I think that's the better way to build a team. When you have the second most cap space in the league, not anymore, but like when we did have the second most cap space in the league, you might want to use that money on building a team and then get your quarterback. Because that's kind of like, that's like if you have the second most money in your hometown. And then no, I'm not even going to continue with that example. That's terrible. I don't really know where I was going with that. But yeah, like, I'm happy that they used the money to build a team. And I think it's very clearly paying off. It's clearly paying off. We got some of these bigger guys, bigger names, and we're probably going to draft really well. And I think any quarterback, if Desmond Ridder just doesn't work out in 2023, then you can go for a quarterback. And they'll see what's going on in Atlanta. Like, hey, they got some great players and a winning culture going on. I want to go there. I guess even before we picked up these guys, I guess people thought that of Atlanta, but because of all these names coming in. But anyway, point is, just build a team before you get a big quarterback. And also see what Desmond Ridder's got. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I thank each and every one of you for your questions. And I will see you guys with the video this Tuesday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern. Love and appreciate you all for the support. And as always, rise up.